an administrator of one of the main Facebook groups.
Yes.
For the gilets jaunes.
Yes.
Can you tell us why you started being an administrator and then what happened afterwards?
I joined the group because I just wanted to help. I got that I could be useful helping people to get information, and all the information coming from all over the territory. So I decided to propose my help, and as I'm an English speaker, so I could help to answer the questions, the journalist questions, and else. So I felt that I needed to help, and I needed to be in this movement. So that's how I got it. I got there.
And then what happened afterwards? You decided to stop, right?
Yes, for a whole week. I've been working on the publications, because it's really huge. Like, the amount of publications is really big. So you got 1,000 publications in 1 hour, for example, and you have to treat them, put aside the violent publication, like hatred and things like this. So, but we have decided to publish everything. So, except violence and fake news, as long as we could verify that it was fake news. So every day we were, I was working, and on my spare time checking the publications and helping. And I realized that I didn't have any overview of the situation, and I couldn't analyze and observe what was really happening. So I decided to stop, because I realized that I started asking myself, like, how this government is not doing anything for this to calm the situation, and I start asking questions and start reading and stepping back,
And how has the discourse changed over the last few weeks on social?
The discourse of people.
Yeah.
Starting at the very beginning, it was actually how could I synthesize this? At the very beginning, the higher point of the protestation is the last taxes on the gas oil. Gas oil? Yeah. Because French people in the countryside, they have to use their car every single day to go to work and to take their children to activities and anything like this. But people are getting so poor that they arrive at a certain point that they have to make a choice between putting gas oil in their car or filling the fridge. So when you arrive at this point, and people needs to tighten their belts every day and again and again and again, at a certain point they start saying it's enough. We can't afford paying all those taxes again and again. So they start protesting. And what happened is that the government decided at the very beginning not to listen to anybody, and the politicians around Macron decided to say we're going further. We continue and we're not. There's no turning back. We're continuing. So people got the feeling that their president didn't they didn't care about what the people was feeling and the struggle, and it's started to get bigger and bigger, and the anger got more powerful and stronger.
And you saw that as an administrator of
Yes,
Facebook?
I saw that, and I've seen that every time a politician was talking on TV and pointing only maybe the small places where there were violence in Paris, decided to only putting the attention on this violence instead of concentrating on the people suffering and in the struggling of the French people. Like every time on the social media, people were like, "Are they kidding us? Is it possible just to talk about that and not listening to us?" And they continue to join each other and say, "Well, what can we do now? Maybe we can organize to do this or to do that or to go there," and without only feeling their emotion and following their emotions, and without thinking about what was really happening there.
So is the feeling from what you saw on social and from people around you that the government is disconnected from?
Yes, of course. There is a huge gap between the government and the people who are making this government. They live the great life. They have drivers, they have big houses, they have second houses and third houses, and people just can't afford to feed their children, you know. So everything that we used to do maybe 10 years ago, like simple things like going to restaurants or going to the cinema, or taking the men taking their wife to maybe some places, to all those little things, simple things of life, we can do this anymore. Like people start save money on pleasure and leisure times. So it's starting to be only struggling, and you work, and at the half of the month you don't have anything. You have just spend your whole money to pay taxes, and the people and the government is so disconnected that the government, like people, couldn't hear this discourse anymore, like the discourse that says, well, the government saying you have to make efforts again, and you have to work, and you have to pay, so our community is going to be great and stuff like this.
And what is life like for you and for your family?
My life, actually, I can give you numbers. I live in Paris. I'm the only one in Paris. My whole family is in the south. My mother, I have five brothers. My mother, the last two brothers, my mother have to go to work on the vigne. How do you say that in English? La vigne. In the fields, in the raisin fields, to feed my brothers. She is 52. Like, can you imagine, like a woman, 52 years old, going in the field, when it's raining or when it's snowing or anything, to work and to get few money to be able to pay for the food and anything for my two little brothers. It's really hard, and it's not only her, it's everybody who is struggling in this kind of situation in France, working in factories, very hard, like 35 to 40 hours a month, to get only 1,100 euros or 1,200 euros to pay the rent, to pay the food, to pay the car, to pay the taxes, and so it's unaffordable.
People are tired?
Yes, people are so tired, and they're scared. They're scared not to be able to continue, and they're asking themselves how they're going to do, and how their retirement's going to happen, because we are known as France is known for its retirement system, which is so great and all. But now today it's not true. It's not true. It's done. It's over, because people who are retired, they live with 600 euros, 500 euros. How can you live with that? Like people that they have worked their whole life, 40 years, 45 years, and today they got 600 euros, and they're so poor, and they've worked their whole life for the society, so which is unfair.
So today we're here in Paris, and the protesters are gathering right now at the Champs-Élysées. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be joining them, and why?
Yes, I'm going to joining them. But actually, my vision of it is really different, because I'm going to be there, but most to take care of people than to really take part in the protest, yes, manifestation and stuff. Why? Because today I really realized that this is something that our government wants. Like, I feel in my belly, in my heart, I feel that this situation is a situation which is really desired. It's something that the government wants to happen. We are doing what the government wants us to do. This is my feeling and the feeling of many people who are trying to have an overview of the situation. Why I'm saying this? Because it's been 2 months that this protest, like 1 month really violent and very strong, but 2 months that people are saying it's enough, like we can't live anymore, we're surviving. And the behavior of our government, it's first, the president doesn't say anything, is not talking, we haven't seen him.
So what do you think will stop these manifestations and these protests?
Nothing will stop it. Nothing will stop it because the government doesn't want it to stop. So it's not going to stop. It's going to be violent, and the government is prepared. They call the army. So the army is there, the CRS are there, and they're so prepared to fight against the protesters. So
and what do people want?
People want to be free. They want to live. They want to live versus survive. They don't want to survive anymore because it's a social, a huge social movement. Everybody is there. People who work in factories, people like me who work in other kind of business. I'm a consultant in a recruitment business. And people, what they want to be free. They want to live. They want to have the possibility to make things that they like. And this is what's happening. And the government doesn't want to answer these questions, and they want to continue to let the people suffer. So it's not going to stop like this.